Picture this. You walk past a crow on your way to work. You do not even notice it, but it notices you. It studies your face. It files that information away, and it will remember you, not for a week, not for a month, but for the rest of its life. Now imagine you once shooed that crow away from your bin, or threw something near it, or simply walked too close. Scientists at the University of Washington discovered something that shocked the entire field of animal behavior research. Crows not only remember the faces of people who have wronged them, they plan their response. They recruit other crows. And they wait. This is not instinct. This is something far more deliberate. Crows live alongside us in almost every city on Earth. Most people walk past them every single day without a second thought. But crows are paying close attention to every one of us. In this video, we are going to look at 4 things science has now confirmed about crow intelligence: facial recognition, revenge behavior, future planning, and social learning. Each one is more extraordinary than the last. And by the end, you will never look at a crow the same way again. Because the crow standing on your fence right now almost certainly already knows who you are. In 2008, Dr. John Marsluff at the University of Washington conducted one of the most extraordinary experiments in the history of animal behavior research. His team made a latex mask, the face of a caveman. Researchers wearing that mask walked through the university campus and caught 7 crows. They handled the birds, banded them, and released them. Nothing unusual so far. Then, weeks later, different researchers walked the same route wearing the same caveman mask. They had never caught a crow in their lives. The crows attacked, not just the 7 birds that had been caught, but dozens of crows, birds that had never personally been touched by a human wearing that mask. They had learned what the dangerous face looked like from other crows, and they responded with coordinated aggression. The researchers then wore a different mask, the face of Dick Cheney, then Vice President of the United States. That mask had never been used to catch crows. The birds completely ignored it. This proved 2 things simultaneously. First, crows can distinguish individual human faces with precision. Not body size, not clothing, not movement, faces specifically. Second, they communicate that information to other crows. The knowledge of who is dangerous spreads through the flock like a warning system. Marsluff continued the experiment over years. The caveman mask remained dangerous in the crow's collective memory for over 5 years after the original capture event. New crows, born after the experiment, learned the dangerous face from their parents and flock members. They had never met that face, but they knew to fear it. Facial recognition in humans is considered a sophisticated cognitive ability processed in a dedicated region of the brain. Crows achieve the same result through a completely different brain architecture, proving that intelligence can evolve along entirely different biological paths. But recognizing a dangerous face is only the beginning. What crows do next is what truly separates them from almost every other animal on Earth. Revenge is a concept we normally reserve for humans. It requires memory. It requires intention. It requires the ability to connect a past event to a future action. That is a sophisticated chain of thought, and crows do it. When a crow identifies a person as a threat, it does not simply fly away and forget. It creates what researchers call a scolding relationship. Every time that person appears, the crow vocalizes alarm calls, follows them, dives toward them, and recruits other crows to do the same. This behavior has been documented in urban crows across multiple continents. In Tokyo, Japan, one of the most crow-dense cities on Earth, residents who have accidentally disturbed crow nests report being followed and harassed for months afterward. The crow identifies them by face every single time, even when they change their clothing, their route, or their hat. Researchers tested this specifically. A person who had been identified as dangerous by crows changed their jacket to a completely different color.
Whoa!
The crows still recognized them and
I don't believe
scolded
it. It knows me.
Changed hats. Still recognized. Wore a hood covering most of the face. Scolded. The face was the identifier, not the outfit. But what makes crow grudge behavior truly remarkable is its social dimension. When a crow identifies a dangerous person, it does not simply remember that face alone. It teaches the information to its partner, to its offspring, to the wider flock. In Marsluff's research, the dangerous mask was recognized and responded to by crows that had never personally been threatened by it. The grudge had been inherited, passed down through social learning the way human communities pass down warnings about dangerous individuals. A crow that holds a grudge against you is not holding it alone. The whole neighborhood knows. And if crows can hold a grudge across generations, what does that tell us about how they think about the future? Planning for the future requires something that most animals simply do not possess. It requires the ability to imagine a situation that does not yet exist, to picture yourself in a future moment, to take an action now that will benefit a future version of yourself. This is called episodic future thinking. For most of scientific history, it was considered uniquely human. Then researchers studied crows. Crows cache food. They hide it in specific locations and return to retrieve it later. But what makes this behavior astonishing is not the hiding itself. It is what happens when a crow suspects it has been watched while hiding food. If a crow notices another crow observing it during the caching process, it will return to that hiding spot when alone and move the food to a new location. Think carefully about what this means. The crow has modeled the other bird's perspective. It has thought, that crow saw where I hid my food. That crow might steal it. I need to move it before that happens. This is not instinct. Instinct cannot produce this level of situational reasoning. This is theory of mind, the ability to model what another individual is thinking. A 2012 study published in the journal Nature found that western scrub jays, a corvid closely related to crows, would consistently relocate cached food when they believed they had been observed. But birds that had never stolen food from others did not show this behavior. Only the thieves understood that other birds might steal, because they knew from personal experience what theft looks like. This is extraordinary. The crow's understanding of potential theft is based on its own moral experience as a thief. It applies its own dishonest behavior to model the likely behavior of others. Beyond food caching, crows use tools. New Caledonian crows craft hooks from twigs to extract insects from bark. They select the right tool for the right job. They carry tools from one location to another for future use. They have been observed teaching tool use to their offspring. In one remarkable experiment, a crow named Betty, who had never seen a wire bent into a hook, spontaneously bent a straight piece of wire into a hook shape to retrieve food from a tube. She invented a tool she had never encountered before, in real time, to solve a problem she had never faced before. The crow's capacity for future planning and tool innovation places it in a category occupied by very few species on this planet. And yet most people walk past crows every morning without a second thought. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about crows is not what they do alone. It is what they do together. Crows are not solitary animals. They live in complex social structures with clear relationships, alliances, and hierarchies. And they communicate within those structures with a sophistication that continues to surprise researchers. Crows have funerals. When a crow dies, other crows gather around the body. They call loudly. They stand in groups. They investigate the scene. For years, scientists assumed this was simply alarm behavior, a response to a potential predator in the area. But research by Kaylee Swift at the University of Washington revealed something more specific. Crows use these gatherings to learn. They examine the dead crow. They scan the environment for what killed it. They associate the location, the objects nearby, and any humans present with danger. In experiments where a person stood near a dead crow, that person's face was subsequently recognized as dangerous by crows in the area, even though that person had done absolutely nothing threatening. Simply being present at the scene of a crow's death was enough. The crow funeral is an information-gathering event. A community safety briefing. A way of distributing knowledge about threats across the entire local population. Now, what does all of this mean for you? If you live in an area with crows, and almost everyone on Earth does, you already have a relationship with them. Whether you know it or not, the crow on your fence has assessed you. It knows whether you are safe or dangerous. It may have already shared that assessment with every crow in your neighborhood. Here is the remarkable flip side of everything we have discussed. Crows are just as capable of positive relationships as they are of grudges. People who consistently feed crows, treat them calmly, and do not threaten them report extraordinary behavior in return. Crows bringing gifts, bottle caps, shiny stones, small objects, and leaving them near the person's door. Crows warning their human neighbors of approaching dogs or strangers. Crows that appear to wait for specific individuals and greet them with soft calls. These behaviors have been documented in multiple countries by researchers and by ordinary people. They are not random acts of nature. They are the output of a social intelligence that tracks relationships, reciprocates kindness, and builds bonds across species. The crow is not just watching you. It is deciding what kind of relationship it wants to have with you. And unlike most animals, it remembers every interaction that relationship is built on. For life, crows remember your face for life. They pass that memory to their children. They plan responses to perceived threats. They use tools, hide food, and understand that other minds can deceive them. They gather to learn from death. And they build long-term relationships with the humans who treat them well. The crow is not a simple bird. It is one of the most socially and cognitively complex creatures on this planet. Living in your city, on your street, watching from your fence. The next time a crow looks at you, really looks at you, remember this. It is not just seeing a person. It is deciding who you are. The question is, what kind of neighbor do you want to be? If this changed how you see crows, hit subscribe for new bird science every week. And tell us in the comments, have you ever had a crow recognize you or follow you? We read every single one.